Welcome to a Regressor's Tale of Cultivation. This is about a dude who gets transported to a new world with no talent whatsoever, and he keeps getting regressed over and over again. And since this is a summary, here's a spoiler alert. Alright, so jumping in, the MC is transported into this new world with his company employees, who are Director Kim, Chief O, Section Chief John, Deputy Manager Kang, Deputy Manager O, and Manager Kim. In this world, they land in this area called the Ascension Path, which I'll talk more about later. In this area, Chief O, Section Chief Jong, and Deputy Manager Kang are immediately taken away by a group of people called Cultivators, since they have special abilities. These Cultivators are essentially people born with cultivation talents that can harness the world's chi, and they refine this chi within themselves to gain power. And in the following days, both Deputy Manager O and Manager Kim also awaken their abilities and are taken away by cultivators, leaving just the MC and Director Kim by themselves. Luckily, one of the cultivators that took away their colleagues helps out Director Kim and the main character by teleporting them to the mortal world, which isn't as dangerous as the Ascension Path, which is meant for these strong cultivators. Just know that these coworkers that were just taken away are pretty irrelevant to the MC story in the beginning, and I won't be going far enough into the story, so you won't have to worry about them that much. Anyways, after ending up in the mortal world, Director Kim, who went along with the MC, turns out has a crazy talent for martial arts, and so he becomes eventually the top of the mortal world, while the MC, learning that he is completely talentless, dies a meaningless death. And just to differentiate, martial arts is different from cultivation because martial arts utilizes inner energy, which is refined through intense physical training. Cultivation, on the other hand, uses something the person has to be born with, which is called a spiritual root, and they use this to absorb and refine the chi from the world and use it for themselves, which typically gives more godlike powers. Anyways, from this death, we learn that the MC has the regression ability, and we move on to his second life. In this life, we get a lot more details. Before getting transported away from the Ascension Path, he had to appease a demon fox with his arm and a snake with his colleague's blood. Then again, we meet the same cultivators from before, who take away the same people and also heal the MC's eaten arm. Then, same as before, they land in the mortal world, but this time they're able to earn some quick cash by using the special herbs they collected from the Ascension Path. Using this money, the MC is able to progress them quicker, head-starting Director Kim's martial arts learning. Kim quickly masters a basic internal or energy technique and then joins the demon slaying sect. Kim masters all of their techniques in just 7 months, going from a third-rate martial artist to peak master, and then even enlightening to the 3-flower gathering level. This is stronger than even the sect leader. But even with this genius teaching him, the MC only reaches second rate. And during this time, Kim even reaches the 5 energies stage, where the body goes through a revitalizing transformation, making him look even younger than the MC. And so, reaching near the end of the MC's second life, we find that the MC only made a few gains. First of all, we learn from Kim that peak martial artists can only match up to the lowest of cultivators. Second, we're able to memorize all of Kim's teachings to help quicken his journey next time. And lastly, we learn that if you reach the 5 energies stage, you actually are creating a spiritual root, which lets you cultivate. In Life 3, we start off with the same motions in the Ascension Path before being sent to the mortal world. The MC is able to speedrun to second-rate martial artist level in the Ascension Path, while also passing down Kim's manual from his past life to this current Kim. With this passed down knowledge, Kim is able to speedrun. He quickly reaches the peak, the 3 flowers level, and challenges all of the famous martial artists in the world, before finally reaching the 5 energies realm again. In this life, Kim decides to create a faction of martial artists to go against the cultivators, called the Palace of Martial Extremity. He is able to progress the martial arts manual he had from his previous life, and we're able to learn about the different levels of cultivators now. The levels look like this, which means that we have a long way to go. At this point, the MC has only reached the first-rate level. This is the level that the MC dies at, and Kim has reached a level where he can escape low-level cultivators, but not completely defeat them. In the MC's 4th life, his survival on the Ascension Path is now much easier, since his martial arts techniques begin to retain within his soul across regressions. After helping Kim speedrun and giving him his manual to improve, the MC decides to spend this life wandering, fighting against numerous martial artists to reach enlightenment and hit the peak level. At the same time, Kim still challenges low-level cultivators to improve his manual. It is only towards the end of the MC's life where mid-level cultivators start coming after them. These mid-level cultivators kill the MC and Kim, but the MC finally hits enlightenment before death and it reaches the peak level. Entering Life 5, the MC can now see a world of red and blue. This is the world of intent, where red lines show premonitions of intended attack routes, and blue lines show vulnerabilities for yourself. After doing the same old Kim speedrun, the MC decides to learn more about the world in this life, and decides to become the Emperor's Shadow Guard. He learns about the Emperor's Mokli Cultivator clan, who is in constant conflict with the Jin Cultivator clan. But essentially, these Cultivator clans and some other clans have the entire mortal world under their control. At the same time, he also advances his peak level to the point where he can use Sword Silk after fighting off numerous assassins. After a while though, he learns that the Emperor and his clan are evil, sacrificing mortal lives for pills that help their cultivation. And so he helps the Jin clan kill the Emperor's clan, even though both sides end up being pretty evil. And through his battles, he reaches the Three Flowers realm, realizing the third purple line. This lets him manipulate and attack the intent lines themselves. He uses this to defeat the Emperor, but also dies in the process. The MC now returns with his enlightenment at the Three Flowers realm. After speedrunning Kim's development again, he ends up going the route of becoming a teacher, working under the Jin clan. He ends up as the instructor for the 500 child assassins he once killed in his previous life. Through these assassins, he's able to learn more types of colors of intent, such as love, hatred, anger, etc. At the same time, he becomes very attached to these children. At a certain point, these children are forcefully awakened and put into war against the Mokli clan, which leads to many of their deaths. The MC takes their resentful souls within himself and accelerates his own death because he desired the children to live. This actually drives the MC to reach enlightenment for the 5 energy stage. While fighting the Mokli Emperor's stronger father, he realizes the final color of intent is his desire, which is actually colorless. Specifically, his desire to live and the desire for his students to live helped him visualize this. This stage and the understanding of the infinite types of intent, stemming from the combinations of the main ones he discovered prior, allows him to integrate his own intent with the one of the world, of the opponents, etc. He still gets clapped by the higher level cultivators in the end, while fighting the Emperor though. Reaching the 7th life, his brain now overloads because his body isn't strong enough to contain his retained martial soul and mind. And so the MC does body reformation at the 5 energy stage. With this, he can finally cultivate because he has a spiritual root. The cultivators on the ascension path notice this difference, but the root that the MC has is low-key mid. His spiritual root was created from martial arts, so he got the 5 element spiritual root. Since it needs to cultivate 5 elements at the same time, it is one of the slowest routes to progress. Luckily, one of the cultivators still gives him a recommendation to a unique cultivation sect, and so the MC can focus on cultivating in this life. And so, besides helping Kim advance the martial manual, he spends the rest of his life trying to get through the chi refining realm for just his earth element at a new clan called the Cheongmun clan. He learns under his master, who I'll call Master R. The main thing you need to know is that he just needs to memorize a bunch of spiritual meridians and natures within his own body, and also the fact that there's 14 stars for each element that make up the chi refining realm. The MC manages to hit 7th star in the chi refining realm out of 14, where he hits a wall towards the end of his life. Essentially, to go from 7th to 8th star, he needs to perform a ritual that is approved by the heavens, but the heavens keep blocking him with clouds. And so he dies being unable to progress. In his 8th life, after helping Kim speedrun again, he takes a break by wandering the ascension path. He finds out that you need at least core formation cultivation strength to approach the ascension gate, and that the ascension path is located above the heaven-treading deserts within the mortal realm. From here, he spends 10 years within the ascension path to reach the 7th star again. Then he continuously does a ritual from 7th to 8th star, begging the gods to be promoted. He does this for 30 years while also training with his imaginary friend Kim. During his martial arts training, he's able to make a breakthrough in his sword aura technique, where you're able to infuse your self-essence into the chi. This helps him break into the ultimate pinnacle stage, a theoretical martial realm above the 5 energies stage. This was discovered by Kim through his numerous life progressions. With this breakthrough, the MC is able to forcefully reach the 8th star by ripping apart the blocking clouds sent by the heavens with his martial arts. And so he's able to quickly advance to the 9th star in a year, while also finding clues to the ancient Golden Thunder sect within the Ascension Path. He eventually leaves the Ascension Path and goes through the heaven-treading desert, almost dying, and then rejoins the Cheongmun sect to meet his master again, while training with the real Kim again. He ends up training for the rest of his life, reaching the 14th star, while also progressing his martial arts with Kim, but he dies without being able to progress to the chi building stage because he doesn't take the pills that makes it easier. The MC regresses with the soul of an ultimate pinnacle realm martial artist and a 14th star chi refiner soul. This makes his body almost explode again when he's able to eat the herbs on the ascension path to reconstruct his body with martial arts again. This causes a few changes during the ascension path phase. Firstly, the fox and the snake refuse to touch the MC because they recognize him as not entirely human. It's the same with the cultivators. It turns out that now he's seen as part demon because he has a demon core. This results from the fact that martial techniques are often formed from imitating beasts, and he is now at one of the peak levels. Consequently, he's given a demon martial manual from the Sea Dragon King, one of the cultivators, and a quest to visit his descendant later in this life. Besides those differences, the MC just spends another 11 years to get to the 13th star of chi refining, also improving the quantity of his sword chi. He finally leaves the ascension path, going to the Cheongmun clan again, but the sect see him as super talented, so they try to forcefully recruit him, making him run away. He instead goes to the side quest of the Sea Dragon King's descendant. He learns the demon language from him and also the demon martial art. He then passes this demon martial art to Kim to hopefully enlighten him to a new realm of martial arts. They've both essentially hit a wall at the ultimate pinnacle. He then goes back to the Sea Dragon King descendant to then continue side questing and find his lost keepsake in a nether crossing ship after losing it in a war between two strong clans. They end up getting clapped by a core formation ghost spirit, so the MC focuses on powering up his other optional elements and his martial arts before going back. They end up beating the ghost this time, but the descendant dies in the process. As for the rest of the MC's life, he decides to progress his cultivation elements further, reaching this far. It is also here near the end of the MC's life where Kim is actually able to discover the next imaginary realm above the ultimate pinnacle realm. But the MC will have to wait until his next life for that. But this shows how the speedrun work every life has been helping. After again saving his body from exploding, he encounters the fox. This time, the fox isn't so nice and sees him as a threat. The MC runs and hides from the fox for 3 days until the cultivators come again, who kill the fox. This change causes a butterfly effect, which causes all the cultivators who take away his coworkers to come together at the same time. This leads to the same outcome anyways, but we learn that all of these cultivators are competing against each other at the heavenly being realm. After this, he helps Kim again, and then decides to leave to the Golden Thunder Sect ruins he found earlier for cultivation due to the high energy concentration. He does this while training with Kim, who has already reached the ultimate pinnacle realm within only 13 years with the MC's help. Kim, using clues from the previous lives' manuals, finds out that the key to the realm beyond Ultimate Pinnacle depends on each individual's lived experiences. He reaches the next realm and names it Beyond the Path to Heaven. At the same time, the MC reaches 14 stars in all 5 elements, which allows him to retry Ascension to Chi building exponentially quicker, but he still can't break through, and instead he switches his focus to martial arts. Kim doesn't speak to the MC for years during the MC's training, just staring at him with intent. The MC doesn't realize that this is Kim helping him until near the end of his lifespan. He figures out the message that Kim was trying to stimulate his heart to show him that he is already complete. Essentially, the MC can take the step to the next stage, but his doubts about his talents and his doubts about his purpose in living these lives were holding him back. He instead realizes to cherish these efforts and also reaffirms his purpose into removing his curse of regressions. With this, he clears his heart and he reaches both the Chi building realm and the Beyond Path to Heaven stage in martial arts. Reaching Chi building now, his lifespan is no longer 50 years, but 300, and at the Beyond Path to Heaven stage, he now has an exponentially stronger formless sword, which is built upon his consciousness and soul. On top of that, he has obtained something called a heart essence, which is unique per person. The MC's is in the form of a purgatory mountain of swords, and so with this, he is now as strong as a core formation cultivator even at the Chi building realm, and he improves his strength by sparring with Kim, whose heart essence takes the form of a golden peng bird. Following this, the MC doesn't get a break because he somehow encounters a remnant spirit of the Golden Thunder sect leader. The spirit calls him a special person called an Ender and tells him to never tell anyone about his secret ability, for doing this would alert an entity that would cause him to have an even more cursed fate. The MC takes this warning into mind, but just eventually does some side quests with his longer lifespan. First, he does the Sea Dragon King Descendant side quest, being strong enough with Kim's help to protect the Descendant from dying this time. Doing the side quest this way actually leads to an outcome where he can now control this nether crossing ship, and he uses this to fly back to the Ascension Path to visit with Kim. Unfortunately, at the same time, Kim is now reaching the end of his lifespan, but instead of leaving the MC depressed, he leaves his death as a mystery by disappearing away into the Ascension Path, not letting the MC know if he has successfully ascended or not, with pure martial arts. And so the MC leaves the Ascension Path with faith in Kim and heads to the Serving Command Palace, a palace that wanders different worlds and contains something called a longevity fruit. The MC locates it with the help of the Sea Dragon King's descendant so that he can give the fruit to Kim in his next life. The MC spends the rest of his life in this palace, researching ways to accelerate the growth of these young longevity fruits, while also getting through 2 of the 3 stages of the Chi building realm within the next 250 years. Nearing the end of his life, the MC encounters the only nascent soul cultivator remaining on the mortal plane, who enters the palace. He is something known as an evil bloodwood practitioner and ends up cursing the MC's soul and then killing him after the MC refuses to be subordinated. But I think that's a good place to stop, where I'll be ending this scuffed recap for the Regressor's Tale of Cultivation. The next arc is when the MC finally gets some Riz, but unfortunately that'll probably be too long for this video. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed, consider hitting some buttons.